We are now less than 2 days away from the next 99 Nights in the Forest update. Honestly, it might even land tomorrow. And yeah, most of you already know the name floating around. The Taming Update. I don't think many of us expected that to be the theme, but hear me out. It might look small at first glance. It might sound like, oh, okay, you can tame stuff. But I really think this one deserves your attention. If the devs execute even half of what people are guessing, the way we play from day one to late game changes a lot. Let me start with something almost nobody is talking about for some reason. The snow biome is back. I know some players hate it because of the freezing and the long walks and the way a polar bear can end your hopes in one bad movement. But personally, don't judge me for this. I actually prefer snow over lava. The vibe, the tension, the planning you have to do, it's just more satisfying. Lava biome is great. Less freezing, strong loot. But snow forces you to think. It punishes lazy roots and it rewards you when you finally gear up and move like a ghost through the white. With snow returning right before a taming theme, you can guess where my mind goes. Traveling with a pack instead of alone, and suddenly that empty space between fires doesn't feel so empty anymore. But hey, before I continue talking about the main topic, taming, just wanted to say, if you haven't liked this video, please do it. And of course, subscribe to my channel because honestly, it gives me a lot of motivation to keep making videos just for you guys, so thank you in advance. Let's get back to the main topic. Now, the big topic, taming. The teaser images and the talk around them pretty much tell us we'll at least be able to tame basic creatures like wolves. But the picture hints at more than that. You can read it a couple ways, but the clearest idea is that we might tame bears and even alpha wolves, not just the regulars. If that's true, that's an instant power spike in early and mid-game. Think about the difference between fighting a roaming group of hostiles alone versus rolling with 3 wolves, 1 bear, and maybe an alpha wolf at your side. You're not just surviving anymore, you're projecting pressure. Your campfire route becomes safer. Your resource runs become faster. You can pick more aggressive engagements because you're not frontlining every hit yourself. And I need to stress this part. None of this is confirmed feature by feature. I'm looking at the image, I'm looking at what makes sense with the name Taming Update, and I'm making a reasonable guess. But if it really is taming in meaningful numbers, that's a big deal. Not just, I have a pet. I'm talking a small team that travels with you, follows basic commands, and changes how you handle mobs. You kite less, you tank smarter, you clear camps without dumping all your ammo. Imagine clearing a stronghold while your wolves peel flanks and your bear body blocks a rushing boar or a wolf pack. You still need to play well, but the flow of fights becomes more about positioning your group instead of only positioning yourself. Let me push it further. And I'll say it clearly, 99% chance this will not happen. But just imagine, purely as a thought experiment, what if we could tame the deer, the ram, or even the owl? I know, that would be totally broken. It would be wild power creep. But picture it for a second. A tamed deer's mobility helping you scout or bait? A tamed ram's charge creating openings? An owl that tags targets or forces enemies to duck for cover? Again, I don't expect this. I don't think the devs would go that far, at least not now. I'm only painting a what if because it shows how a taming system, even limited to wolves and bears, could evolve later. Today, you tame basics. Tomorrow, maybe there's a quest line or a rare item that lets you tame one special creature once per run. Balance-wise, that's dangerous territory, but it's fun to imagine. Let's come back to what feels realistic and useful on day one. If we're getting taming, we need systems around it that actually make it worth using. Simple, readable commands like follow, stay, guard, and attack. If the devs give us a radial menu or quick hotkeys, we'll use it constantly. If they bury it in a clunky UI, we won't. Pathfinding is another big one. Wolves and bears need to feel sticky, not stuck. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be reliable enough that we trust them when we sprint across a ridge or weave through trees. Then there's progression. Do our tamed creatures scale with us? Can we heal them with bandages or crafted treats? Do they level up if they survive nights, or is there a simple upgrade path like leather, to reinforce to Arctic gear for your pack. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even a very lightweight system. Feed meat to restore health. Feed rare meat to boost max health by a small amount would keep the loop going without turning this into pet micromanagement simulator. Also, what happens when your wolf goes down? Is there a short window to revive it, or is it gone forever for that run? I'd actually prefer a revive window. Keep it intense, but not punishing to the point you never risk fights. Events could play into this too. Meteor nights are chaotic. Tons of visuals, tons of aggro. Tamed allies could either thrive in that chaos or get shredded if you lose track of them. The alien or frog invasions, if those rotate in, might become the real test for whether your pack is a help or a liability. Picture lining up on a ridge, calling stay, then attack, and watching your wolves zip past you while you cover with a revolver. It's a different fantasy than solo play, and honestly, it sounds fun. I also want to talk about balance, because this is where a lot of people get nervous. If your pack is too strong, the game stops being scary. If it's too weak, you never bother. I think the sweet spot is, one bear feels like a second front line, an alpha wolf feels like a mini-boss on your side, and regular wolves feel like smart knives, fast, precise, great at finishing targets you tag. Against bosses or elite threats, they should help, but not delete the fight. Against swarms, they should buy you space to reload, heal, and reposition. And they should cost you something. Food, attention, or inventory space. So you make choices. If you want to roam with 3 wolves and a bear, maybe you carry less ore. Maybe you burn more meat each night. Maybe you need to build a little beast budget into your road. Let's circle back to the community expectation. A lot of people saw a Taming update and kind of shrugged. I get it. It doesn't scream huge. But in a survival roguelike where movement, timing, and aggro control are everything, Taming is actually a mechanical update more than a cosmetic one. It touches route planning. It touches how you stand your ground. It touches how you decide when to take a fight and when to avoid one. Even if the only thing we get is tame wolves and maybe bears, you're going to feel it, especially in snow. And if there's a surprise, like a new snow POI or a quality of life tweak to warm clothing locations or some little Beastmaster quest, that's enough to make the entire patch feel fresh. Now, about those wild dreams once more, deer, ram, owl, I don't expect it. I think it would be hilarious and totally broken. But the reason I bring it up is because it shows what taming could become over multiple updates. Start small and grounded, prove the system works. Then, months later, maybe add a single exotic tame with a huge cost. 1 per run, a real decision. You want the owl? Fine. You lose something else. Power with a price. That's how you keep the fantasy alive without breaking the game. So yeah, the Taming update might look small on paper, but I think it's a stealth big patch. It changes your habits, it changes your route, it changes your fights, and if the devs sneak in even 1 or 2 snow surprises, that's content for days. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to wait for the update to drop. Until then, bye.